Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning. Bix Weir, RoadtoRoota.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee, chagi tea, chaga coffee. 3 days left of the cleanse. I've lost 20 pounds. Have you seen me shrink down? Good. I don't plan on gaining it back this time. You never do, right? But it's been a good, strong 3 weeks, couple more days. I'll probably lose 22 pounds. But it wasn't really about losing the pounds. It was the health and vitality, and I feel great. As a matter of fact, look what I'm drinking. That is celery juice. If you've ever had fresh celery juice. If you never buy celery juice in the store, I mean, it literally loses vitality probably 2 hours after you juice it. But celery juice in the morning, bravo. All right, let's get to it. Lots to talk about. It's crazy. I'm talking with Jenny Moonstone later today. That'll be posted on the private road. We're going to go down that rabbit hole. Speaking of the rabbit hole, our friend Clif has something to say about the RoadtoRoota theory. Well, I relate it to the RoadtoRoota theory since 2007 when I first discovered the RoadtoRoota documents at the Fed. I'm like, holy shit, there's people within the Fed that are trying to take down the banks. And there are many signs that that's happening. But check out what Clif has to say. Clif has a Substack on Substack.com, clifhigh.substack.com. Go check it out. He does like podcast type discussions. But check out, this one's called Banks. You know what's coming. This is starting about the 20 minutes, 22 seconds in. Check out what he says about the Federal Reserve and how that links up with what I've been screaming about for so long.
So this is our world, right? And we're going to go into a rapid spiral downward that will be led by the Federal Reserve Bank in an unexpected way. So now, all of that having been said, the banks are collapsing. It's a result of the Federal Reserve note not having any purchasing power. The whole thing is a dirty Ponzi scheme, derivatives crashing, too much unrestricted money printing, bribery, and the whole social order is corrupted by these, basically all the Jewish banks, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, all of these guys that own the Federal Reserve. So now here's the thing. They may not be in charge of the Federal Reserve anymore. So they may own it, but no longer control it. There's some suggestion, if you read the current happenings and have a particular understanding, you can say, well, that shouldn't happen unless. And you keep getting a lot of these unlesses, and you come up with this theory that maybe there's been a coup d'etat, that maybe the current managers of the Federal Reserve are managing it in a way that is not the way that the Rockefellers and Rothschilds want it to go, but maybe the way that, like, patriotic Americans want it to go. So in other words, we're presented with an interesting picture where the Federal Reserve is doing things that sort of make sense. Not their overt things, all this, but I'm talking about the stuff in the background. Sort of makes sense as though you were going to face a crisis, have a plan for that crisis, and have a recovery that did not include your organization the way it is now. So we have some of these telltale signs. The U.S. Mint is making silver eagles, and I hear gold eagles as fast as they can turn them out, but they're not selling them. They're just stacking them up. So that kind of tells me they're planning on having to introduce an alternative currency. It'll have to be solid. It can't be paper or digital. In order for it to do the job it's got to do emotionally. And so they're doing it, I think, with the silver eagles and the gold eagles that they'll be able to introduce into circulation. There are other such things. So the Federal Reserve Bank appears to be trying to save the dollar at the expense of everything else, such that the central bank itself could continue. So there are some moves relative to how they have all this shit structured in derivatives and so on that would seem to suggest that the central bank, our Federal Reserve, wants to save the Federal Reserve note to maintain some level of purchasing power in it, even though that's not what Klaus Schwab wants. Klaus Schwab wants it to die horribly, quickly, so they can move everybody over into his Green New Deal. So in essence, I'm saying it appears, because of some of the things that are being done at regulation levels, other moves that are being made that you can find reported, it appears, and I'm making the suggestion, that maybe the Federal Reserve Board of Directors has gone rogue, and that they intend to do something different than what they're being told to do by their masters. I think their masters are aware of it. I think they're trying to provide the pressure that they may, but it simply is not working, and these guys appear to be going on their plan. I do not think they can save the Federal Reserve nor the Federal Reserve note here in the United States. It may delay the total collapse some while and give us a nice bit of breathing room, so I like that idea, but I don't want them to save it because I don't want 2 years from now to be dealing with fake money the way we're dealing with fake money now. I would much rather have a reconstituted, official, Treasury-issued U.S. dollar. I think that's where we'll end up, this Treasury-issued U.S. dollar. But it does look as though the Federal Reserve is not going along, and so this means that there may be bank wars. That would be a very interesting thing to occur. That actually aids the population in a couple of different ways, and we would see that aid in the...
All right, there you go. I had it on double speed. That's the way I listen to everything, even myself. So if you don't like the double speed, go to Substack. Listen to the whole thing. It's amazing. It's absolutely true. The Fed is working to take down the banksters. I know, it's crazy. Oh my God. The flack I took back in like 2007, 2008 from the GATA crowd was amazing. I take shit still. And a lot of the GATA crowd came around after I showed them, 10 years worth of research. But that's fine. If people can't understand it, they don't need to understand it because it's happening anyway. Well, Clif was talking about one of the most important things, I think, to our country, and I've been jumping up and down about it, is the United States American Eagle program, the criminal production sales to the people. Now, it is a law. It is a law that they have to produce enough sales to meet public demand and sell them to the public. I can argue this with anybody. Everybody comes around saying, well, yeah, but they really don't have to because they can claim that the blanks are too expensive. I go, nope. The U.S. has to be the number one buyer of silver blanks, pay them more money than anybody else because they're the only one legally mandated to make silver eagles in quantities to meet demand. I did talk to Andy Scheckman. They're still on allocation. Believe it or not, the U.S. Mint still has silver eagles on allocation, means they're not doing what they told. Andy believes before he saw this data, he said he thinks it's 450,000 eagles every 2 weeks they're going to make. So you're still seeing premiums $8, $9, $10, way up there, massively up there. And I looked at the data, and right there, February they've done in 2 weeks 450,000. Now they're supposed to be posting every day, by the way. Another thing the U.S. Mint declines to do is post how many silver eagles are made every day. But why I say this, and I think it's important, is that over the past couple of years, especially the past 2 years of the Biden administration, there's been a huge decline in the amount of silver eagles made. And here's a spreadsheet I have, and they have a massive derivative book that they are losing millions of dollars on. I'll show you that too. But here's eagle produced in the calendar year. That's what they show there. I use the fiscal year because that's what the U.S. government uses for their hedge book when I analyze this. But the calendar year, you can see 2015, they made 47 million ounces, 47 million silver eagles in, what was that, 2015. I think it was 2015 or 14. Yeah, it's 15. 27 million ounces of physical silver, and then 37. Clearly, they have capacity to make massive amounts. And then all of a sudden, drop. Then David Ryder came in, the ex-mint, a true American under Trump, came in, changed the silver eagles, put the little notch on the bottom, getting ready to put an identifier on. And when he was running it, he did 30 million in 2020. He was on the way to 35 million in 2021, except they had to stop for a month and a half to put the little notch in. So they only did 28, but still massive amounts of silver eagles. And then 2022 is when Ventris Gibson came in and the Obama administration, and they literally cut it in half. Literally cut it in less than 50% of capacity. It's like, what is that? Less than 30% of capacity. But here's the problem. They could say, they can blame whatever. They can try to blame COVID. I've argued this with all the industry professionals out there. From what I can tell, the vast majority of industry professionals in silver are not really professional. They refuse to do the due diligence on the conspiracy of manipulation. If you don't understand manipulation, there's no way you can explain what's going on in the silver market. That's a fact. So if you're a silver guy, you better know manipulation or everything you say is completely useless. Sorry. But check this out. Really interesting. Look at this hedge book loss. These are hedge book gains and losses. Look at those two hedge book losses. Massive hedge book losses. This is when David Ryder was in there. Now, David Ryder was, again, he's like, holy shit, we're going to go back onto a gold standard. We're going to get this ready. We gotta get the gold and silver eagles ready. The only way they could have lost this much money on their hedge book, which was 2021 loss, $112 million on a year when the price of silver went down. So the hedge book actually should have made a ton of money. The only way that might have happened is if David Ryder was buying massively more silver than they were producing. And so they might have massive stockpiles. And I believe they do have massive stockpiles. And then, as you can tell, the hedge book has just exploded since 2010 for the United States Mint. I've talked to industry professionals who didn't even know the Mint had a hedge book. This is their own industry. You're a silver analyst. You should know the Mint runs one of the largest, definitely the largest retail hedge book, one of the largest hedge books in the world. And why? Yeah, we all know why. And who manages their hedge book? It used to be HSBC. I would not be surprised to hear it was JP Morgan. I don't know who the current manager. It's not them. They go through the bullion banks because they're in collusion with the bullion bank. So really interesting stuff. I'm going to there's more data I'm going to put on this before I release it to the world, but that's where we are with that. Okay. Now, why am I so pissed that Ventures Gibson can't make even half of the silver eagles she says she says are possible? It's about a third of what she says is possible. And here's the big thing, and she brags about it. This is the annual report for 2022. The director's letter. Ventures Gibson, the director of the Mint, newly installed by Biden. She's never worked in a Mint before in her life. She's really experienced in HR. If you're going to wind down the employees or tell them, hey, we're going to work you really hard, but everybody's going to yell at you because you're not going to sell anything. We're going to hide them over here in the corner. You need a head of HR. That's what Ventures Gibson, that's why she got there. All right. We all know the problem with Silver Eagle availability. Everybody in the industry knows there's a problem. Here's what Ventures Gibson said in the annual report. And I got a letter to this saying the same thing. This is right off the bat. Amid the unprecedented demand for circulating coins, the Mint continues to be the world leader in bullion coin production. Even increasing production quantities of one of our most popular coins, the American Eagle 1 ounce silver dollar. Is she lying? Is she lying, just flat out lying? Or is she telling the truth? If she's telling the truth and that none of the data matches what she's saying, it's exactly the opposite of what she's saying, then she's making silver eagles and storing them away for some reason, not selling them as legally required to the United States public. Or anybody in the world can buy silver eagles. Quantities to meet demand. That's all. Silver eagles demanded all over the world. It's the most popular, or it was the most popular coin until Ventures Gibson got in there. I went through that chart the other day. Yes, it was the most popular coin. The U.S. Silver Eagle is no longer the best-selling coin. It's the Canadian Maple Leaf because of this woman. Because of this woman. Now, is she a patriot? Is she just doing what she's told? What is the deal with Ventures Gibson? She's clearly lying to the American people unless she's hiding him away. Anyway, a lot of shit going down. Trafigura. If you've been on the road to Roota long enough, I've been down this road so many times with Trafigura. Trafigura is one of the number one biggest commodity trading companies in the world. It is an offshoot of Mark Rich's companies. Basically what happened is Mark Rich got in trouble, split off his company, which is one of I would say by far, he was the largest commodity trader in the world. You want oil in Afghanistan while it's under crazy rule and everything's banned, you go to Mark Rich. He passed away a while ago, and Clinton he was the very last pardon for Clinton after Clinton left office. Because he helped with the strong dollar policy. What is the strong dollar policy? Rig the price of commodities, 100% control them, and then you have a sound dollar. That's what the real strong dollar policy was. Anyway, Mark Rich has passed away, but he before he passed away, he split his company into two. And those two entities were a company called Glencore, which was a public company, and a company called Trafigura, which is a private criminal trading company, and they worked off each other. And they colluded daily. These guys colluded daily with each other to rig prices. I wrote a big, long expose on them years ago. Glencore, metal derivatives, conspiracies, and the endgame. There's Mark Rich. It's crazy. Some of these people are now dead, have been disappeared type of thing. So go to RoadtoRoota.com. As a matter of fact, if you go to RoadtoRoota.com, just do a search. Click on search and go to Trafigura, Trafigura, Trafigura. And you will see how many articles I have posted there. There's 16 different articles I've written over the years about Noble Group, Trafigura, Glencore, commodity derivatives, gutting the bad guys, Glencore's conspiracies, all kinds of a lot of private road articles. There's a ton. So go check that out. A lot of updates. So 16 different articles you can find out on why this is a gigantic deal. Trafigura has to go away if we're going to have freely traded commodities. And this is a huge thing. Giant commodity trader faces massive losses after missing nickel fraud uncovered. The global nickel trading market is once again in the spotlight, having been at the epicenter of a massive short squeeze that almost shuttered the London Metal Exchange. That is the second most criminal exchange in the world, the LME. Actually, the LBMA is. They're both criminal. They're both completely controlled by the bad guys, and remains mired in litigation. Bloomberg reports that the nickel market has been rocked once again as one of the world's largest commodity traders, Trafigura Group, is facing more than $500 million in losses after discovering metal cargoes it bought didn't contain the metal they were supposed to. This is a lie, by the way. If any word is synonymous with Trafigura, it's lying. So just keep that in mind as you read this article. It's on Zero Hedge and on Bloomberg. So yes, as it doesn't even matter what they say, as Trafigura is exposed for the criminal entity that it is, they'll take Glencore down, which is probably, I think, one of the largest commodity dealers in the world, dealing in gold and silver and all kinds of commodities. Massive entity. They're going to get in trouble too very soon. Keep an eye on that. Really quick, Coinbase chief warns of potential cryptocurrency staking ban. Brian Armstrong, chief executive of NASDAQ-listed cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase, has raised concerns that the SEC, under Gary Gensler, is seeking to ban cryptocurrency staking. This is such a lie. I don't know if it's made up by Brian Armstrong or more likely made up by Gary Gensler. If you ban staking, you ban proof of stake coins. If you ban proof of stake coins, you can take out everything useful about cryptocurrencies as implemented into our financial system, corporate entities of America. There'll be no use case for cryptocurrencies if you ban staking, because that is the incentive mechanism to keep the blockchains whole and continuing to be decentralized and all that. That is the incentive for the entire staking industry. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. If the United States ever banned staking, you could just take the United States and put them as a third world country within 2 years, because they will not participate in any of the benefits of the new cryptocurrency decentralized way to run things. It is the dumbest thing. It will never happen. But if it ever did happen, the United States within 2 years would be worse off than any country on the planet. Thank you, Gary Gensler. He knows it too. I have a feeling this is Brian Armstrong trying to talk his book down to get some of those staked coins that are on Coinbase that he doesn't have, but his customers claim to have them. He's got to go out and buy them now because he's like, holy shit, people are taking coins into their own possession. So I think this is a con from Brian Armstrong. Yeah, if Gary Gensler ever did that, I mean, even I would move to China. That's to take crypto, the crypto technology out of the United States of America businesses would be the most insane thing that any regulator has done. And they've done a lot of insane things. Remember, Gary Gensler was the guy overseeing the CFTC during the JP Morgan silver manipulation. Gary Gensler is one of the smartest guys out there, but he's also, he does what he's told by his banker controllers. And the deep state, he was the Clinton guy. So sorry, Gary, but hey, the best thing that could happen to America is if the SEC and the CFTC were disbanded, completely abolished. And you might say, oh my God, that'd be so much fraud all over. Absolutely. That would make you in charge of your money. Would you invest in a stock market that is full of fraud? No, you wouldn't. Why are you doing it now? Because the SEC is watching over the fraud. You see where I'm going with this? It would demand truth and honesty in markets. It would demand visibility of what's happening, or nobody would participate. And that's the key. No regulators means people have to do it themselves, and they would be careful with their money. They would hang on to their money. They wouldn't participate in Ponzi schemes. No more nanny state, my friends. It's time to put on your big boy pants. All right, I got to go talk to Jenny. You want more information, go to RoadtoRoota.com. Go to the member area. Tons of stuff in the member area at the private road. Great discussion I just had with Will Lair. Here's the Silver Eagle getting outpaced by the Canadian Maple. So sad. That was just I think 2001 and 2002, both years, and 2003. No. 2002, 2003, and 22 and 23. So go check that out. Lots of great stuff here. More information on the Grand Canyon. Anybody who wants to know information on the Grand Canyon, wants to know 10 years of research about the gold in the Grand Canyon, go to RoadtoRoota.com. You can find all the information. I give it away practically for free at most of the site, or you can go on the private road and get the real deep stuff. So go check it out. That's so person I'm about to go talk to. You want to join the Road to Roota, go to subscribe today, and we're still giving away one Very token, the most important crypto you will have in your crypto portfolio. All you need is one because it's like a lottery ticket. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you guys later.